We'll go ahead and get started with this city council meeting. Could we have roll call?
Councilmember Hahn.
Here.
Hoag.
Here.
Hopkins.
Here.
Blackwell.
Here.
Shipman.
Here.
Von Redhorst. Here.
Okay. We'll have the invocation tonight from Reverend Blake Coates, and then this Pledge of Allegiance from led by Mike Shepard.
As we once again, am I on? As we once again celebrate the coming of the Holy Spirit this week, I paraphrase a prayer or a hymn. Spirit divine, attend our prayer. Make this place your home. Descend with all your gracious power. Come, great Spirit, come. Come as the light. Lead us in paths of life. Come as the fire. Purge our hearts. Come as the dove with wings of peaceful love. We ask blessings on all those here gathered, especially City Council members Herb, Larry, Mike, Sterling, Mark, Katie. We ask blessings for those who work for the city, especially Sherry and Mike, who are here present. We ask blessings for all the guests here present with business before this council. Oh God, as this city council meets tonight, we ask your guidance in discussions and decisions. Grant the wisdom to speak and act thoughtfully, the courage to listen with open hearts. May everything we do here bring honor to you. Amen.
Amen. If you please join me in a pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Are there any commission reports?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, yes. I have a report from the library, and I understand that you were able to join the meeting and talk about the repercussions of House Bill 710, which is going to take new policy and a new form at the library so that people can object to books. One of the hard parts is going to be that people can request that a book that they find offensive can be put in an adults-only area, and our library does not have an adults-only area, so we're going to have to get that all worked out at the library. But, and we're going to have 2 meetings during June in order to get all that done. So in the last month, 4,008 books were checked out. There were 3,428 patrons visiting the library, 14 new cards, 249 new books were purchased, and the back room was used 30 out of 30 days, so it's a very necessary part of our community. I think that's mainly the meaty parts of the report. So always very active at the library. There's going to be a couple of family movie nights this summer. One of the grants that Timber obtained allowed for that, so that will be fun, something to watch for, to go down to the library for a family movie night. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any other committee reports?
Yes. Yes. Okay, Economic Development Committee, we met, or Commission, Committee?
Committee, whatever.
Okay, what I'll say for that one. Let's do the design review. But that's also a committee, isn't it?
Yes.
Never mind.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, committee reports. The Design Review Committee gets together weekly. We will meet again tomorrow. We're in the process of adopting and figuring out how to do a layover of some of our possible design requirements as we look to shape the way that Weiser develops. So that is in progress. We're still waiting for our codified version of the landscaping. None of us have gotten that, so hopefully we'll get that soon. That's one of the first documents we did. And then we're also gonna have some documentation for the city council probably in the next 2 months just regarding some verbiage for the adoption of some of the things that we do. So that's that one. The second one is Economic Development Committee. We did meet the first Friday of the month, and we are in the process of shifting some things. So Lena has stepped down from being our chairperson, and so as a committee, we're in the process of kind of rewriting our mission, if you will, and seeing how we can best serve the community. And so there's some movement happening there. I'll have more to report after this next month. But we're excited. The committee, if you don't know, has done several things for the community that often isn't seen. Our new signs that enter us and bring us into the city was brought together by the Weiser Economic Development Committee, and then also Main Street America. And so Main Street America is kind of where that shifted. Now that that is its own organization, we're kind of figuring out what's our next goal for the community. What can we do for Weiser? And then that being said, Main Street America is also doing a slight shift. We have Lena and Melanie who are swapping places. Melanie Hickey is now going to be the chair, and Lena will be the vice chair for that organization. And Brenda is going to offer her services voluntary at this point to continue to work so that the Main Street America is able to save the money that was being spent as a coordinator. Instead, we'll use it for projects that are coming up. So lots of things happening in both of those committees.
Thank you.
That's all. Thank you.
Any other?
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to, the Finance Committee has met, and we reviewed the bills, and would like to further review those. We kind of ran out of time.
Okay.
And so we'll kind of get back together, I guess, is maybe one of the things we can do, is go through and authorize the review of those, and we can make the motion to approve them pending a reevaluation.
Okay.
That makes sense?
So are you ready for a motion at this time?
Was that a motion? Did you make a motion?
It was to approve them pending an additional review.
Okay.
So you don't have that down as an action item.
Oh, we don't? Oh, okay.
We have approved the
Well,
minutes. We have
the-
minutes. I mean, approved the bills.
Right, we have.
Bills are an action item.
Okay, yeah, bills, okay.
We're just not there
Okay.
yet, but we're there now.
Yeah.
I think first on the agenda though is
You jumped ahead.
the department reports.
Oh, that's the
Yes, so, and we don't have our esteemed clerk here tonight, and she has the computer that usually puts this up on the screens. She's on a personal trip right now, and she wanted to take the computer along with her, so if anything came up, she could respond to it. And we figured that was a better use of that computer than just putting numbers up on a board for us. So with that, we have Mike giving us the report, and then we can visualize it in our heads.
Mayor and Council, April 2024 monthly reports. Weiser Police Department, 13 adult arrests, 7 misdemeanors, 6 felonies, 0 juvenile. 39 citations, 5 misdemeanor, 34 infractions. 355 calls for service, 37 case reports, 7 felony, 6 misdemeanor, 5 accident, and 19 incidents. Animal control complaints, 18 dog complaints, 3 impounded, 7 returned to owner, 14 cat complaints, 14 impounded, 1 returned to owner, 12 to the TNR program, and 9 transferred out. Ordinance Department, 7 weed, 1 junk and debris, 3 abandoned cars, 6 parking, 2 camper occupancies, 4 bin inspections with 8 written warnings. Wastewater Department, April flow of 2023, 31,840,000 gallons. April 2024, 27,690,000 gallons. April BODs for 2023 was 34,308. April BODs for 2024 is 38,206. They ran the belt press, hauled 151 tons of biosolids to Clay Peak. Burke Electric replaced the old panels on basins and clarifiers and installed a new motor on the clarifier. Water Department production, April 2023, 11.866 million gallons. April 2024, 17.027 million gallons. Installed a new main line on East Park Street, did final inspection on Reservoir 1 and started filling and disinfecting Reservoir 1. Sprayed the weeds around the plant and outbuildings, sent 2 operators to Idaho Rural Water Conference. Electric Department power consumption, March 2023, 4,955,121. March 2024, 4,600,057. Sprayed weeds in the pole yard and around outbuildings, set a tent pole for the new O'Reillys, installed conduit to the new transformer, installed underground to many of the homes in Olds Ferry subdivision, and repaired a broken conduit behind the museum. Street Department ran the sweeper for 8 days, painted curbs, crosswalks, and center lines, 1 load of asphalt on patchbacks and potholes, continued spraying the curb lines for weeds, started mowing city properties, and graded some of the more problem alleys. Recreation Department. Spring soccer is finished for the year. Youth baseball games will start around May 20th. Cheer camp will be June 17th through the 21st. Performance on June 22nd. Currently taking registration for youth golf. Youth basketball camp will be June 3rd through the 7th. Building Department. 9 building permits were issued. 3 single family, 2 residential garages, 1 carport, and 3 dwelling alterations and additions. Mayor and Council, that is your monthly reports for April 2024.
Thank you, Mr. Campbell.
I visualized every
Um,
second.
Have you had a chance to look at the minutes for last month's meeting?
Mayor, I move to approve the minutes of the April 8th, 2024 meeting as written.
I'll second the motion.
Okay. It's been moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Action passed. Great. Now then, for the bills.
Now,
Now we can do the bills?
Now we do the bills.
Okay. Mr. Mayor, the Finance Committee has met and reviewed the bills, but would like to do a further review, pending a further review, because we didn't have enough time to kind of get through and verify them all. But that's kind of where we're asking to go through and do those, and people maybe come do it in the next meeting and say that they were approved as done.
I think we have to, sorry.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, could we approve them pending further review? And that will get done tomorrow. We wanna approve them so we can pay them, for
Right.
Pete's sake, yeah.
Right.
So that's the way the motion, we need to have that, and I would second that motion.
Okay. Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Can we have a roll call?
Councilmember Hoag,
Yes.
Hahn,
Yes.
Chipman,
Yes.
Blackwell,
Yes.
Von Brekhorst,
Yes.
Hopkins.
Yes.
Okay, motion passed. Thank you.
Let you know, we need to remove item 10 from the agenda. That paperwork didn't come through from ITD yet.
Okay. Would there be a motion to remove item number 10?
So moved.
Seconded?
Okay, moved and seconded. All in favor? All opposed? Okay,
Thank you.
there's no unfinished business, so we'll move on to new business. And I would like the, all of the members of the water department to come up.
Or do you want to hand them out?
Oh, yeah. This one must be yours.
Do they say award-winning water department on the shirts?
I will show it to you.
Okay.
Where are we at? Mr. Shepherd? Mr. Torres? Mr. Hare? This is mine. And Mr. Schimmel could not make it down, but
Okay, so gentlemen, would you all turn the other way? And they'll leave it up here too.
okay.
And This, folks, is our award-winning water department. They were named Water Operation of the Year for the state of Idaho. And so, we're very proud of them. So thank you guys, great job. I hear stories about other towns and what goes on, and there's never any stories about you guys.
We've been trying.
And so thank you very much.
What did you say?
This is what they
Oh, so you get to wear that around and
Yes,
show off all the
this
time?
is our
That's
award we got.
beautiful.
Congratulations.
Water drop. That has to stay here so we don't throw it.
Lonnie Chambers and Sean Spence, come forward.
Oh, come on, boss.
Come on over here. And Lonnie didn't win any awards.
No, sir, I
No,
did not.
No, but Sean here got Rookie of the Year for the wastewater treatment plant. And that's for all the wastewater treatment plants in Idaho. So he's a newcomer, but he's really shining, so.
Just so that everybody knows, I didn't do this by myself. It was, oh, I know. No, I didn't get to give a speech at the conference. But I'll tell you what, Weiser, we rocked it at the conference this year because everybody was coming up to us, and it was a very proud moment for both us, wastewater, and the water department. It was really, really a proud feeling. Boss there and the team, we work together, awesome, we love each other. Yeah, it's the best.
He did get a jacket too.
He did.
He did bring it.
I was not aware of this. I was conned into it.
I just told him to show
He
up.
told me we were gonna get a combo. Oh, sorry. Never mind.
It's okay, we were conned into coming too.
Too soon, I know, sorry.
Talk to us about fireworks.
Well, before I do that, I have one more, why we won System of the Year. Mike Shepard, who just left, he actually won Operator of the Year.
That's
in the
right.
City of Weiser,
I am
so
sorry.
should have brought that up and
I
go
should
from
have.
there, and he did the main part, but my entire crew was part of this whole thing, why we get done, so I'm very proud of them.
I'll call Mr. Shepherd tomorrow and apologize.
No problem. I should have reminded you.
You'll turn off the water.
So, yeah. So, fireworks. I'm just kicking off our annual fundraising for our fireworks. You guys set the budget, $13,800. That was just to maintain last year, and I just need to get the word out to everybody that we're gonna be putting out some letters to the businesses and all the help, and we're gonna try to get a breakfast going. Speed here.
Yeah, I knew.
Okay, we're
working on it.
We're working on trying to get a breakfast as part of our fundraiser, and we'll be in the parade and a few other things, but we need to come up with the money, otherwise we won't be able to keep doing this, so. These fireworks shows are for the community and funded by the community, so. And you guys have been very gracious as the city council to help propagate that by putting it into the budget after the fire department separated, so.
Well, I think it's something that everyone appreciates, and you guys don't all see how much work and effort goes into the fundraising, into the ordering, into the setting up, and then they get to have about a half hour's worth of fun. And so.
Some of us do.
Some of us, yeah. But anyway, we really appreciate all your efforts and everyone else.
I got Pete, right-hand man, and then my wife is also a certified pyro, so she's been helping me out with all this.
All right.
Well,
Everybody needs a certificate.
Thank you to all the pyros.
Yep, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, agenda. agenda is Bonnie Akbar with a proposal for a mural for City Hall.
Yeah. I'm assuming that you all got the facts of, or a message about what was needed?
Would you state your name and your address?
Okay.
Yes.
My name is Bonnie Akbar. I am 35 West Idaho down here at Artful Bonds. And I have a proposal to do a mural on the back side of City Hall. For those of you who come in the back door, you know it's pretty bad. I figured if it was gonna need painting anyway, I'd paint something snazzy on it. So what I'm asking for the city council to approve is the cost of paint and to be able to park another 6 feet out so I can get my scaffolding in. And the only other thing, as you might have noticed on the little outline, is the back door is warped, peeled, and same with the door frame. So I'm assuming that that needs to be painted, replaced, however that needs to happen. But I figured that was probably on the agenda anyway. And if it isn't, maybe it should be. So the mural itself will cover the back side of the building from metal part to metal part. So it'll be from this edge of the east side of the building against the dentist's office to the cage of the metal on the other side. It will go from roof to floor. And it is a stylized American flag. There are two choices for people to make. It's stylized because it's the wrong dimensions to do an actual flag. If you really want that, I can do that, but the surface is so uneven that it's really hard to get everything very exact. So one of the proposals is for a waving flag, much like the one that is over at the senior center, activity center, whatever it's called now, the community center. Anyway, that down the hallway is a stylized one that waves so that you can't quite tell the dimensions. The other one is a scene of, the sky itself is actually the flag, and it's a silhouette of kind of a farm scene. And it could become a different silhouette if you so choose, but that one would be available and easy to do. Should I read out loud the things that are needed for the audience to know, or are you okay?
I think we're okay with that.
Okay.
Or are there any questions?
It'll take about 5 days, and as soon as the repairs are made, I'm ready to go.
Bonnie, was there an estimate on how much the paint would cost, out of curiosity?
A gallon of good outdoor paint right now from Sherwin-Williams, which I understand is your store that you guys get
Rada.
stuff from, I think.
Most of our paint comes from Rada.
Oh, okay. A good gallon of paint is about $84. If I am doing it as a business, I can get it for about $40, almost half that, for a good gallon of outdoor paint. I know, it's, all the supplies have been totally lost. Yeah.
I didn't.
In the last
painted
about
anything.
5 years, it's about doubled in price, almost doubled. Yeah. So what I need from you though is not all of the supplies. I've got brushes, I've got other colors. I just need white and possibly primer because I would ask that the city would be the ones to power wash the wall. And a lot of paint might come off and I might need priming again.
So was there a total estimate of what the city
Oh,
would
the
need to
estimate
pay
for
in
the,
that?
well, depending on what you want to include in that estimate, if I need the primer, then I would guess, because I need about 2 quarts of paint, because I have all of the rest. So the primer itself, the good primer for the, anyways, about 84. A regular gallon of paint is about 65. So, and then a couple of quarts. So probably you're looking at nearly $200 for paint and supplies, but probably not that. Probably not that much.
And then there'd be prep work, and if we need to replace a door,
Mhm.
we'd need to do that.
I don't know if the door itself needs to be replaced, but definitely the door jamb. And it might as well be replaced now instead of after the mural started.
The door stuff would be under just general building maintenance. I mean, if something is done, it wouldn't be part of this, actually.
And would the primer be under general maintenance? My cost is less than $100 for all of the paints that I need.
I mean, yeah, it would be a general to paint it, I mean, same as we do the front of the building, I don't see why it would be any different.
Yeah.
Honestly, to make it right before she paints on it.
That would be helpful. And also, if we need to kill wasps, there's that included. Yeah.
And Bonnie, I understand that you'd be doing this out of the goodness of your heart.
Yeah, because I'm tired of looking at it when I come into work.
So there's some ulterior motive there.
No, I would like to do that for the city. If you provide the supplies, then I would be happy to paint it.
I think it's an amazing thing that she wants to do it, and I applaud you for it. So I would make a motion to accept whatever we need to in order to let her get this done.
Thank you.
And would second that motion.
Okay. It's been moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Yay. Thank you. Just so you know, I normally charge about $2,500 to do a mural, so. You're getting a bargain.
Well,
That's why we say yes.
Bonnie, thank you very much. That was a very generous offer.
I'm happy to do it, truly.
Thank you for doing it.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you.
For approving that. And the only other thing for you all to consider is that, like I said, to move the parking backwards, you shouldn't have to eliminate the parking.
No.
And I'll get started as soon as the repairs are done. Am I assuming someone will just notify me?
Yeah.
Or I could keep watching?
Um,
Thank you.
Yeah. Mr. Mike will
I'll figure it out.
do that. Thank you, Bonnie, and really appreciate it. Moving on. The next thing is to consider the Walker rezone request from A1 to C3. And you've all had a chance to look at this request in your packets. Are there any questions or comments?
I have a couple of questions. The first one is the letter that we got from Washington County Planning and Zoning asks us to look at the Weiser City Code in impact areas and consider a development agreement. And in the rest of the information, I don't see any evidence of a development agreement being discussed at all. It was so what they've asked us for and what we're doing doesn't seem to be the same thing. We're considering a zone change. They've asked us to consider a development agreement. So how does that?
Dave, did you want to address this?
In
State you are.
Dave Luce, City of Weiser, Building Department, Planning and Zoning Department. In this, when we had the meeting, John said he would be open to doing a development agreement on that property if the zone change went through. And in my recommendations, that's what I recommended, that we approve a C3 zoning with a development agreement. And it can be developed, this has to go through the county, but it can be developed through the county when the county approves it
Okay.
with the city's recommendations.
Yeah, I want to clarify something. You're unable to take and make a recommendation. Because it's strictly the Planning and Zoning Commission.
That was my staff report.
Okay.
In my staff
Okay.
report,
It's in there.
it's in there.
That's in the staff report.
Okay. So I'm trying to remember. It seems like we had a similar request for this same property a year or two or maybe 3 ago. Is that correct, or was that a different deal?
No, I think it was a request earlier too for.
And was that for a rezone change, or?
I believe so, yes.
Okay. And if memory serves me right, our recommendation at that time was to not approve the rezone.
Yes.
Okay. And do you know, are there any major differences from that request and the one we have before us?
The first one was for C2 recommendation, but then when the county went through, they decided that in the impact zone, that we needed to follow the city code for zoning changes within the impact zone from the county to the city. And they would recommend that we start using the city codes for the impact zone.
Okay, so that's
And that was a kind of a change. Before, it was a county zoning.
okay. So I guess that's a huge difference.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Any other questions?
So the county asked us to be able to use the city code or the city zoning because it's in the impact area.
Yes.
So I'm wondering, do you know if the use of our code extends to a case where there would be a conditional use permit applied for? Would they also be using
Yes, it's
our
still
code for
yeah,
that?
Everything in the impact zone now, on like zone changes and stuff, are by city codes, which on certain things, and yes, they would have to have a conditional use permit, depending on what they're wanting to put in.
Right. So, but it would be based on
Based on city code.
our code.
Yeah, we'd
Okay.
have to come back through city planning and zoning and the city council again.
Okay. Thank you, Dave.
Yep.
Can I ask one question?
Yes, sir.
So you talked about a development plan, right?
Yes.
How far out would that development plan go? I mean, we're expecting out 95, their entrance into Weiser. Is this development plan just for the property?
It's just for this property.
Just for this
And it stays, a development agreement stays with that property for perpetuity. It cannot be changed. Whatever the development agreement is for that property, in a development agreement is with that property forever.
So it's engineered, a plan is submitted,
Yes.
and then we either approve or don't approve that plan?
Development agreement,
And-
yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, Mr. Mayor and Mr. Luce, I had another question. I understand C3 is the designation that this permit, this application is asking for.
Yes.
Which allows more intensive and like semi-industrial activity in a C3 zone?
Up to a point, it's more, it doesn't allow industrial. It moves through, like in a C2 is more retail development. C3, that's when you can get into like service stations and things like that. There's a little bit more development, more as far as manufacturing is required, but it's not a full industrial zone.
Not full industrial,
No.
but sort of, it can be semi-industrial and more intensive
Yes.
use, yeah. And then the farmland part of this, it's not able to be used as farmland because why?
They state that they can't get the water to it, to that piece.
And that's because of a pump problem that they had, or?
I think it's an access problem, that some piping or something got crushed at some point years ago that was delivering the water to that property.
So
I'm not
conceivably, water could maybe be delivered if something else was done or some more
Possibly, yeah.
development was done. Yeah, so I thought that we were supposed to, have farmland as our top use of land if it's possible.
Except that this is in the impact area, and so that doesn't necessarily apply.
Okay.
In fact, it was turned down once before for that reasoning and kicked back to us because we were using county codes.
Right, I understand county just has C1 and C2, whereas the city has C1, 2, and 3, is that right?
Correct.
So, yeah, and I was interested in the vote of the Planning and Zoning Commission. It was 3-2, and not everybody was there. It was really close, is there any chance that we could maybe get some, I don't know, do we need legal advice on this? Since we have a new city attorney, or going to have a new city attorney, I guess maybe have somebody look it over and see if we're, I was just wondering if we're, have all our Ts crossed and Is dotted.
I think we do.
Okay.
I think we do.
And as I understand it, the findings of facts show that the planning and zoning recommends that we deny this on a 3-2 vote. Right.
Any more questions?
So in one of the prior applications to rezone this property, planning and zoning had recommended possibility of putting in a sprinkler system so that he could irrigate the rest of that property. And it's a very small property. I think it's maybe 15 acres, 20 acres.
One piece that he's looking at.
Yeah, I mean, the entire piece,
Yeah.
if he was to try and sprinkle irrigate it. And I really think it would be cost prohibitive for him to bring power and put a system in for that smaller piece of ground. It's been almost 40 years since that corner has had any irrigation water to it, so. And that is one of the things that determines whether it's productive farm ground or not, is whether there is water available, so.
I think one of the challenges that we're facing as council is that the highway acts as a divider, right? And so it's a little trickier. Can't annex it in because it has to be contiguous with property that's already annexed in. So we're kind of taking a leap of faith in saying yes or no on what it is. But I do think if we think about our comp plan, right, that our impact zone is recommended through the comp plan to have commercial zoning along that area. And though C3 has a broader list of different possibilities that are there, it doesn't negate the other possibilities within C1 and C2. And it is our impact zone. So I can see why the encouragement of a development plan would be wise, but I think it's okay. Yeah, personally.
Yeah, I think it meets our comp plan.
Yeah.
Well, except that it is our gateway to the town. And so, and we have limited space for that retail, whereas light industrial, that, do we want light industrial in our gateway? We have light industrial near our gateway already, but is that how we want to develop it?
This takes me to where I think about all these meetings I have weekly about our design review, because C3 has such strange things listed in it, right? It's our retirement homes. It's a list of other businesses to me that I think that's in C3. Why? So I see the concern. I do. I truly, genuinely understand the concern of what we put at the gateway to our city, and I think it acts as encouragement for us to fix things. Just gonna put that out there.
And I would totally agree.
So, I guess I'd just add that, I've tried to look at the lay of the land, and yes, it's the gateway, and try to imagine what someone could or would do with that property, and their, let's take a gas station, for instance. That is only allowed in C3. And, that would it seems to me be one thing that an owner of that property might consider putting in. There are really, if you look at that area on the map, how we've zoned it, it's frankly kind of a hodgepodge.
It's awful.
what it looks to me like is we have zoned it for whatever somebody wanted to use it for at the time. And it's created a problem now. Because, I mean, if you look at what's just south of there, we have an onion plant with a hardware store right next to it and a grocery store right next to that. I mean, that, if I could wave my magic wand, it would be different, but that, I mean, that's how it is. This is a tough one, because I think we want to do our best to try and not make it worse than it already is, but you know, how do you go about that? Frankly, my review of you know, what you can and can't do in C2, C3, the things that, you know, that might possibly be there, looked to me that C3 was more appropriate. There's C3 just as the city goes, just I guess across the street and just to the north, as close as the city limits go, that little chunk is C3, but then the next little chunk is C2.
The only part of the C3 is where the cottages are, correct? That's what it shows on this map that I've got here.
There are storage units across the street that are C3. And then further down where we have our current dollar store, or sorry, Dollar General, that section there is C2. Across the street from that, you'll find our C1, which is Bi-Mart, B1 is Ridley's, C3 is our cottages,
Yeah.
So it is C3 for those.
Yeah, it is kind of.
It's a very colorful map right there on our corridor, all the colors right there.
Yeah, it is very colorful.
Yeah, so anyway, I guess to conclude my opinion, I think that I would feel more comfortable if we had a development agreement for that property, if we're gonna zone it C3. I guess it'd be my recommendation that and in fact, one of our P&Z commissioners who voted to decline the application mentioned that in their comments, that it would have been better to have a development agreement in it. And I guess I think we need whatever we do, if we want to approve it, I think it needs to be contingent upon our review and approval of a development agreement with that property. And if without that, I don't think that we should approve it. I think we should agree with the P&Z.
And can you help me out and tell me what is included in a development agreement? I mean, what kinds of things are included in that?
Yeah, basically is as I understand, more of a this is what you can and can't do on that property. Isn't that the same process we did with like the Maverick store?
In the RV park.
And the RV park, they had development agreements. And they said, this is what we're going to do. And
So some more specific.
It specifies for us landscaping and all those kinds of things. It's a very detailed instruction on how it will be developed into commercial property, I believe.
So we owe it to the Walker family, whether we approve or not approve. that we start working on a development plan, because this is their third application, I believe, to do something with that property. And I kind of feel like we're holding them hostage. We really don't know what the city wants to do with that property. That's supposedly our gateway. So I think one way or the other, we need to get on a development plan. We owe it to them to try and do the right thing out there for that piece of property.
Right, and the other thing to remember is, we're just making a recommendation to the county.
County, yeah, it's the county's decision.
So we're not deciding what will happen. We're deciding what we're going to recommend to the county that they do.
Great. So the heat's not on us? Perfect.
Well, they will listen to us, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm sure they will. That's why it came to us, yeah. So and for a point of clarification, if we, Mike, you can clarify it for me. If we deny it, do we say please come back with a plan, or can we approve it on condition of a development plan?
That's what they're asking for, is to approve it on the, with a development agreement, so they couldn't do anything on it until they provided a development agreement on it. However, it would be zone C3 no matter what, but it would be contingent on a development agreement, is the way I understand it.
Is that part of the application, that it include a development agreement? Or just to zone it to C3? I'm looking for the application's clear here.
What's before us is the rezone.
It's just a
from Ag
rezone,
1 to
yeah.
C3.
Nothing said in that about
Right.
development.
Right, however, we can
Put that in.
we can put
Is that in our motion?
Make that a condition.
Yes.
Okay. I like it.
Yeah.
As long as there's progress. Yeah.
Well, I'm going to step up and make the motion that we approve this zoning change to C3 contingent upon the development plan and strictly adhering to the development plan.
I'll second.
Just a comment, would you accept a small amendment that adds our review and approval of that development agreement?
Yes, I would.
Been moved and seconded. Any other discussion? Okay. Since there's not a dollar amount attached to this, we can do it by voice vote. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Convene a planning and zoning meeting of the 3 council members to decide what, or to make a recommendation on what we want to see in the development agreement. Okay, motion passes.
We can't do that, I'm on that committee.
That's why. Okay. Next on the agenda is to approve the purchase of an airport mower. And Mr. Mike, would you like to step up on this one?
Yeah, so Jim Meskers came the other day and we was talking about buying a 3-point mower for their tractor. He said he would like to get a 7-foot one, which is, this one says 72, but that is wrong on their thing. It's actually an 84 inch mower. The best price on it was through John Deere. You can see the $4,775, and it would be my recommendation that we go with that one. None of these guys make their own mowers. However, the John Deere one seemed to have the better reviews that I could read on it, was the heavier gauge metal, and it seems to be the best mower, and it's available now. Some of the other ones you had to order and wait.
Jim, do you feel the same way?
I'm sorry?
Do you feel the same way?
Yes.
You prefer the John Deere?
Well, I don't have a strong preference. I've looked at both mowers and honestly, I don't see.
You gotta come to the mic. Sorry, you gotta talk in the mic.
I'm sorry?
Come forward to the mic.
Oh,
And state your name and address.
my name is Jim Metzger. I'm the airport manager, 1351 Airport Road, Weiser, Idaho is the address of the airport. And yes, I've looked at both mowers, and I don't see a substantial difference between the two. Service of the mower might be a little more convenient if we bought it in town, and I don't know, Mike could tell you what the difference in cost actually is. You know, Mike?
Yeah, it was the $4,889 for the one here in town, and the John Deere was $47.75.
So it's how much different?
Oh, what, $114?
I would probably, just because of the ease of service, I would probably lean toward doing the one that's here locally, and I like doing business locally too.
And that's more than fine with me too. I just was not familiar with that mower. Reading, there wasn't much, I couldn't find a lot of information on it, except for what the salesman told us. And we bought from them before.
Can they service them? Like,
Yeah, he did say that parts are available for these. I don't know for how long. There's no way to tell, I mean, on that. The other thing I want to tell everybody is we did not budget for this, but he does have room in his budget to do this. Way to have the money to do this. Yeah, and like I said, Jim's looked at both of them.
I mean, my preference is to support local as well, but I think John Deere has a name.
Of course, went online and did a bunch, and it seemed to all of us that the best choice for what we were doing would have been a flail mower. Turns out, a couple of things happened. One was I think we got bad intel. That just happened, but that's my fault for not sorting it out. And secondly, the airport is continuing to mature. I think it will reach a point, at some point, when at least portions of the airport will still be mowed with a flail mower, and that'll be the best piece of equipment. But we're not there yet. And we've been limping along with our other existing mower, 7-foot mower. I'm not sure where that mower originated, but I don't believe it was new to the airport. I think it was probably handed down from the street department. And it has completely failed. We've serviced it every year, we've taken care of it, kept it inside, but this year it catastrophically committed suicide.
It would be easier to tell you where it's not patched than to be honest.
Perfect, thank you.
In airport parlance, it crashed and burned.
Yeah, crash and burn, there we go.
Any more questions from you?
No, thank you.
Thank you.
So, Mayor, I have a question. So we'd be approving a dollar amount here? Is that correct? Do we have to,
Yes.
do we have to select a specific bid? Or can we approve a dollar amount?
You can do either way. If you prefer to do it by a dollar amount, you can set a dollar amount that we can go up to and do it that way also.
Okay, and in that case, who would make the decision on which mower we got?
I'd probably let whichever one Jim prefers, he'll be the one using it, so it definitely, whatever one he would prefer to use is my recommendation.
Okay.
That's how life.
I won't be using it, so.
You're the one using it,
Yeah.
you should choose. Can we authorize for up to 5,000, and then that gives them two options, I guess, at least to look at? Is that reasonable? I motion that we authorize Jim to purchase a new mower not to exceed the amount of $5,000.
I would second that.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Could we have a roll call, please?
Councilmember Han,
Yes, approved.
Von Redhorst,
Yes.
Blackwell,
Yes.
Hope,
Yes.
Hopkins,
Yes.
Chipman.
Yes.
Okay, it's been approved. So,
Thank you, council.
May I say one more thing?
sure.
First of all, thank you. And I would like to invite all of you guys to come out and visit your airport sometime. Just make a little trip out and see what we've got going on out there. But please wait about a week so we get our mowing caught up.
Jim, are you having a fly-in this summer again?
Sorry, we don't have any plans for flying. There's a group that may come in September and do some flying there, but we don't have any official plans.
Okay, awesome, thanks.
Okay, next on the agenda is Wildwood Flowers and Events Beer and Wine Application. And Lieutenant Cron, would you mind coming forward and telling us what you know and what you think?
Well, it's my understanding that this
Would you
is.
name Name, please.
Sorry, Lieutenant Troy Crum, Weiser Police Department, 262 East Court Street.
Thank you.
It's my understanding that this business is somewhat similar to Marbell's Pottery, except with flowers. So we haven't had any problems with any businesses like that in the past. I don't see any potential problems as of now.
Was any kind of a background check done?
Not to my knowledge. I got this at the end of the business day today.
Okay.
I did try to go by the shop, but they were closed.
This is the location where Pickers Paradise was, correct? Yes. Yeah, okay, a new location. Thank you.
Any questions or comments?
So if we approve this, would a background check have to be done before it was final, or? Is that?
No.
Does this travel with her? Because I know she does a lot of wedding events out at like Sunnyside and other places. So does this travel, or does it have to be at
I believe
the
it's got to
location?
be at the location.
Gotcha.
That requires a special, like a catering.
Yeah, catering permit.
Lieutenant, would you recommend any further review, or would you like to, do you think it's appropriate for you or your department to do any further review before deciding on this application?
I would be certainly comfortable.
Hello everybody, it's Greg Austin with a Better Official. We've got new information from NFHS for upcoming changes, new rules for 24, 25.
My mouse with me.
Okay, sorry.
I would be comfortable doing a little more background checking. However, that's somewhat limited. The NCIC wouldn't permit for things like that. I can't run criminal histories for things like that. But there are a few things that we could do.
What's the council's pleasure?
I see no issues with it. I mean,
I would
we
move-
have 23 other ones in town, so I mean, what's a 24th at this rate?
I would move that we approve this for Wildwood Flowers.
I'll second.
See, it's been moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passed. Okay. Next on the agenda is to approve surplus city vehicles. And you have a list in front of you of,
We do, yeah, I can answer any questions on these, especially the police cruisers. Everyone that's the Impalas on there have all been either crashed or cannibalized to the point where they're not sellable. They'll probably go to the scrapyard. They've been used pretty well, so I don't know if we can get them to the auction. Some of them won't move or are missing quite a few parts like transmissions and whatnot. The recreational pickup is the Chevy 4x4 that we have out there. It has will need extensive repairs to be roadworthy at this point. I mean, it is drivable, but I don't know if I would leave town with it. We may call the auction house and see what they want to do with that before we let it go. The biggest one that will go to the auction is the International Line Truck, the 99 International Line Truck. That is the bucket truck that we replaced, and it is in good shape, so it will go to the auction to be sold. The other one that'll go to the auction is the 86 International Truck. That is that soft drink Coke truck is what it was. They actually received that by donation to the fire department at one point to use for a first out truck, but it had all the doors to hold the tools and whatnots. That was never completed or done, and it doesn't appear that anybody would like to do it at this time, not even the other fire department. We asked them. So we'll probably send it over to, it will go to auction also. The 3 animal control pickup bed boxes, they don't fit anything we currently have, and they've just been sitting out there for years, deteriorating. I will talk to the auction house and see if that's something they will take and try to get rid of. The 480 volt wastewater diesel generator has been sitting out there since 2014, I believe, and hasn't been used. It was replaced with the new one. This one was operational at the time it was removed. I believe it still will be operational, just need it hooked up. We looked at trying to find ways to use this within the city. It's just the voltage to do it. It's a 480 volt, 3-phase generator. There's not a lot of stuff that runs on that, right? That's a pretty specialty industrial heavy commercial generator. We don't have a way to do it. It would cost us more to phase it down and put it into our system than it would be to probably purchase one that would run correctly. So there's that one. And then the last one is just another Impala police car that just lost its transmission. And so it's trailered out to the yard right now. So I'm not sure what we can do with that one. Like I said, we have cannibalized these cop cars to keep them running, you know, until we got done with the last ones. And then a few of them have been in accidents or are no longer drivable or worth fixing, just for the fact that they're old with high mileage now, and I can't see spending the money to repair them.
And cannibalization is something that's done with pride around here.
Yeah, we keep everything running. If you have parts, use it up for one. So this is stuff that is just in the yard that has been here for quite some time, and we need to remove from our possession. But where they're titled and have value, they have to be surplus before we get rid of them.
So then is the motion that we declare these surplus vehicles to be disposed of? I would make that motion.
Second.
Okay. It's been moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, moving on. This next item is to authorize the movement of funds between banks and possibly open new accounts with Umpqua.
I would like to recuse myself.
Do I need to do the same thing? I don't know which banks we're going to.
Probably so.
Okay, me too.
Okay.
I motion that we recuse both Katie and Larry.
Is there a second? Okay, all in favor?
Who's the second?
Aye.
Herb.
Yeah. Get out of here, you cheats. Last thing we need is an article written about you.
Okay, Margie is passing out.
Even though they're the recused, can they see this?
No.
No, probably. So I'm Margaret Taggart, I'm the treasurer for the city of Weiser. My address is 1001 East Park Street. I'm here tonight to ask the city council to approve the change in the way some of the portions of the city's funds are invested. I hope this chart will help as I go through this process. We currently have $2.3 million in a collateralized money market at the Zions Bank. It's currently earning 0.2 APY. We're hoping to take advantage of the interest rates that are occurring right now, and so we would like to move a portion of that into 3 different places. The first one is a $500,000 7-month CD with Zions Bank earning 5%. That's in the bottom of your chart that says proposed investments. In the first column, Zions, the 500,000. In the center of the chart is the Umpqua Bank. We would like to establish a banking relationship with Umpqua, and by opening a commercial money market in the amount of $1 million. Currently, their account is earning 4.3 APY. These rates are subject to change, and the account carries no fees as long as the balance is above $25,000. The third new investment we have actually incorporates one of our old accounts. At DL Evans, we have a CD there that will mature in September. The current balance on that CD is $269,122.98. It's earning 0.55%. So for us to withdraw that early, we'll have a penalty of $672.81. But then we would move that to a CD with a 12-month term earning 5%. And each of those percentage rates that I mentioned are APY, and that's important to designate the difference, meaning that that's an annual yield on those rates. We would like to take that old CD, roll it into a new one, and add an additional amount of $300 $31,328.63 to a total of $600,000 at that D11 CD. And that would be a 12-month. I think I summarized everything. Do you have questions?
Give a little bit more background. A while back, we were concerned about the banks and the liquidity when interest rates shot up. And there was some instability in the banking industry, so we went for security, and safety. Now that rates have stabilized and the banking industry has stabilized, thinking that the higher rates compensate for taking a little bit more risk.
So our checking account with sweep, that would maintain, is that correct, to the 1.5? We're just looking at the collateralized is all that we're moving,
Correct.
reinvesting? Okay.
Yes.
And so we'd be looking at moving about $1.8 million out of the collateralized money market certificate. But then everything else stayed the same. But even then, $500,000 of that collateralized money market in Zions Bank will stay in Zions Bank in the form of a CD.
Right, yeah.
Looks like a significant improvement in yield, for sure.
I mean, I wish my bank account looked like this.
You should have these kind of problems.
What a problem. I don't know. I'll put $1 million over there. I don't know. Life of a teacher. Well, Mayor, I would motion that we approve and authorize, that we authorize the movement of funds between banks and possibly, and open the new account with Umpqua to create that relationship with our local bank.
I'll second the motion.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Could we have a roll call, please?
Councilmember Hopkins,
Yes.
Blackwell,
Yes.
Shipman,
Yes.
Han.
Yes.
Thank you. And I can say that when you're a banker, all you get to do is look and not touch.
We hope.
There's certain.
You said you hadn't seen those to me, so I.
No, I just realized I had a sheet made up for all of you, but the person but it didn't get handed out.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I have nothing on our next line item, but yeah.
Okay. Okay, then I'll go verbal on this then. Because I've got it.
Are we to the next item?
Yes, yes, we're to the next item. As you probably know, we're without a city attorney at the moment. Mr. Chadwick passed away suddenly last month. And so I put out requests to 4 attorneys to submit a resume and a proposal. I received 2 back. Another one, and the deadline was last Friday, and another one called today asking what the deadline was. And so probably communication would not have been the best. And so of the 2, I would recommend that we go with Reese Rizek in Fruitland. He's a graduate of Gonzaga University. Has been practicing law in Fruitland since I believe 2012, mainly in family law, but land matters and so on. He sat on the Fruitland City Council for about 7 years and is currently in, I believe, the 4th year of being Payette County Commissioner. And so he's very familiar with P&Z, he's very familiar with open meeting laws. And it looked, in visiting with him, I think that would probably be the best fit. His charge is actually less than what we were paying before. He'd be willing to do it on a retainer of $1,500 a month for 10 hours of service, and then $200 an hour after that. He normally charges $250 an hour.
And 200 an hour after that, what'd you say?
And please excuse me for not making sure that you had his proposal and his resume in front of you. That was my snap view. And I put this off, except we really need to have an attorney at this time. There's several issues that we need some advice on.
Can you
This is-
say his name again?
Yes, Reese, R-E-E-C-E.
Okay.
And then Rizik, I'll give it a try. It's H-R-I-Z-I.
UK, I think.
U-C, I think.
But it's
Anyway.
pronounced with the silent
Rizik.
H, so Rizik.
Rizik.
Okay. That's all I need to know is how to pronounce it.
Yes.
Did we have anyone locally?
We did, but I felt like this was the better choice. It is an appointed position, and so it's someone that I nominate, and then you either confirm or deny.
So you're teasing us with information, I see.
Well, Mr. Chairman, Mr. Mayor, I would move that we contract with Reese Rizik from Fruitland to be our city attorney.
I'll second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay. I will contact Reese tomorrow and we'll get to work. And then number 10 has been removed. And then number 11 is to, I'm asking for to split the cost of an appraisal on the current police station building with the possibility of remodeling the fire department and moving the police department over there to allow them to have more space and for future growth.
I'd like to make a motion that we go ahead and split the cost of that appraisal with the county.
I'll second.
Okay, I've got just a couple of questions. Have we or the county gone out looking for an appraiser?
The county has one in mind that they used before.
Okay, because I was just thinking when I saw this that, well, frankly, my first thought was, how are we ever going to get anybody to appraise the, part of a building?
It's done in cities all the time.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
But my second thought was, I don't have a better idea.
Okay. Okay. And what struck me was the cost was lower than what, as bankers, we're used to seeing for commercial appraisals. But on this, there wouldn't be all of the strings attached and regulatory, or the regulatory strings that are attached to commercial lending. And so they've used this person before. $25 is what they paid for having 3 buildings appraised.
2,500.
Or 2,500.
Okay.
I think it was within the last year. And so, but I'm asking for a total of 2,500 for our half, just in case it's a little bit higher.
Well, I think this is a good first step, because I can't imagine how else we would determine a fair price for both us and the county.
Right.
So, yeah, I think that's the way to go.
Right. And this is not a commitment, you know, if we, you know, this is exploratory at this point.
I voiced my concern earlier about utilizing the fire station for this when we don't have things ironed out per se with our Weiser fire district. So I'm gun shy, but I understand what we're trying to do. I just don't know that that's where I want to go. So.
And I think if any of you visited our police department, they're very cramped. They're serving us out of very tight quarters, and I think, and the county also is moving some of their deputies to other locations because of the lack of space in that facility. I think I'm right here, aren't I? That, yeah. So whether it's the fire department building or one of the empty bank buildings or something, I think this is a good first step to get the appraisal and to look to the future.
And, Counselor, I think you make a great point. But until we know what we've got,
Yeah,
we can't really do anything. And so I guess we need to me, we need to know how much money we have. And then whether we do the fire station thing or do something else, then we at least have a starting point.
Yep.
Any other discussion?
What, out of curiosity, what would this budget line come out of? What,
It would have to be done in next year's budget.
okay.
The 2,500, I think.
Oh, it's 25.
Well, I know how much, but I'm saying, where are we pulling that from? How would we classify this?
Appraisal line.
Discretionary fund, it's my favorite word.
Other purchase services.
It would be other purchase services.
Okay, all right. Thank you. Well, it's been moved and seconded, so.
Any other discussion? Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Could I have a roll call, please?
Councilmember Chipman,
Yes.
Han,
Yes.
Von Brethorst,
Yes.
Hopkins,
Yes.
Pope,
Yes.
Blackwell.
Yes.
To accept and authorize the mayor to sign playground equipment bid. And you have that bid in front of you.
You get all 700 pages.
No.
No.
Thank you.
I tried.
This is just the contract.
Oh, okay.
It's only like,
You guys, yeah, there was other stuff in there too.
now then, earlier when we were talking about committee reports,
Yeah, we should
we
talk
could
about
we
this.
could have had
That was
a
me.
committee report on this at that time. But I knew that we were also going to be talking about this, so
I knew that.
it's fine.
Should
So
we do a report now?
you can let everybody know what you came up with. And what you thought.
Absolutely. So our parks, what's the committee called?
Parks and
It's the Facilities Committee.
Facilities Committee. We got together a couple weeks ago. We reviewed, what was it? Five different plans and bids for the awarded grant money that Mayor was able to get for us for our city park. And as a committee, I thought it was quite entertaining, really.
We had a good time.
I enjoyed it, every second of it. We didn't look at the 700-page document page by page. We went through the first 100, and then we skipped to the others. But truly, an excellent opportunity to be able to see what it is that we could choose for our community. And I would just like to compliment the committee and the work that we did in identifying the need for handicap accessible. That was one of the major concerns that came out of the committee. And so the plan that we chose was one that is far more accessible to our youth and our citizens. And the plan that is in front of you is the one that we chose. That you'll see several areas that allow for wheelchair access, which we felt is what we really wanted for our community. We wanted to make sure that those people were able to get out there and enjoy the parks that we have as well. So it was good fun. We're sorry that our services will have to spray down tunnel sleds. I know that was a concern. I'm so sorry.
So just so you know, those tunnels, anything over 8 feet, it's either 8 or 10. Those tall ones have to be a tube slide. You cannot go that high with an open slide.
Yeah.
Just
sorry they have to spray them.
figure it out. We did add a piece since you guys chose this. You know, we've spoken that the bid was lower than you anticipated, so we did speak with them and we added a climbing piece that's not part of the major structure. It's an extra piece that goes on. And at that time, it had raised it up, but Dina Jenkins, the person that is doing this for Region 4 Development, she's the grant overseer. She came in, and when she went through it, we sat and talked, and she worked with them and got the price down from where we went, because we were almost right at the 250 threshold, and she got it down to the 241.
Awesome.
I just had that in mind.
175.
Yes, that, the 241.75. So she put some more wiggle room in there, and we can still utilize that last bit of money if there's something that comes up we want during the installation process even. And the other equipment that we looked at was either too much or very little, so we kind of shot in the middle for the extra piece to add on to it.
Yeah.
Just so you guys, that's changed.
I love it. It looks great.
It kind of makes you wish you were a little bit younger, doesn't it?
Yeah,
Very, I mean,
There's no
it's
age
very
limit.
neat looking.
There's no age limit.
Oh, okay.
You can play on this. That's why we chose this one.
How close is the ambulance?
3 blocks.
The hospital's only 4.
Yeah.
See? It's on all the angles.
And there's a great sidewalk going right to us, saying gurney right out.
Okay.
Well, I motion that we accept and authorize the mayor to sign playground equipment bid.
A second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Any other discussion? Okay, roll call, please.
Councilmember Blackwell.
Yes.
Hopkins.
Yes.
Poe.
Yes.
Von Redhorst.
Yes.
Han.
Yes.
Chipman.
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. And the kids of staying in town appreciate your vote too. And now for the most important item of the evening.
Who's got it? Take it. Herb, take it.
Make a motion that we adjourn.
I second.
Okay, moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.